You want to say anything?
Let me just glance at this for a second. 56-20 from the paint, 27-13. Yeah. We shoot 50 for the game. We shoot 30. All right, guys, I'm ready. It's first round of the ACC tournament. Without Garrison, found that out earlier in the day. Challenged our post guys, the other three guys, yesterday because we thought he would probably play but would be limited. So I challenged those other three guys yesterday to be focused and ready to play regardless of how many minutes we were going to give them. I think it was no doubt in my mind it was a factor that Notre Dame played last night and basically played 7 or 8 guys most of the minutes. And so we had more guys and we were fresher, and I thought that was a huge part of the game for us. But our big guys hurt them early inside, and I think Caleb made a 3 early. And then after that, we didn't shoot it very well until the second half. And in the second half, we were 6 for 11 from 3 in the second half. So we're very lucky to catch them where they played last night, but I loved the way all of our big guys played.
C.L. Brown.
Roy, can you also give us an update on Garrison's availability tomorrow? I mean,
I have no idea, guys.
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'd like to give an update because that would mean I have one. Again, we thought he was going to be able to play up until today. We didn't practice him yesterday except the warm-up stuff, and I thought he would be able to go, but it was still bothering. It's the same thing the first play of the Duke game when he made the basket and came down on Matthew Hurt's foot.
Andrew Jones.
Coach, how much you said the Notre Dame play the other night, that was a factor, but how pleased were you with your team's energy, their activity, and their decisiveness out there?
In the first half, I was pleased. The first 4 minutes of the second half, I was not pleased at all and jumped them a little bit at that TV timeout. But after that, we got it inside 2 or 3 times in a row. We got some stops. Andrew Playtech made a 3 in front of our bench, and I knew we had a big run. I didn't look at the score. I don't have any idea what it was, but I knew we were having a very significant run at that point. And then even to the next TV timeout, that 4 minutes there, we had continued to play unselfishly, and we're getting some stops and making shots. And so everything, you guys have heard me say 1,000 times, when the ball goes in the basket, everything looks a lot better.
Mike Barber.
Yeah, Roy, you talked a year ago about Armando, spinning and twirling and all that too much. What kind of a development have you seen in his game?
Well, I think when he doesn't do that, he's a much better basketball player. There's no question about it, because the more spinning around you do, the defense just tightens in on you and more people get involved, and you're not as fundamentally sound. But I think that 20 and 13, that's pretty impressive, 7 out of 10. But there were times during this year that Armando was our most consistent player. And I think that was extremely important to us all season. And he and Dayron really dominated the game early in the first half. And, they make a 3 and we turn it over in the last couple of minutes, and it still was whatever the score was at halftime. It was still 14 points. And then we come out and make a 3 the first possession of the second half too.
Brendan.
Hey, Roy. Yeah, you've already talked in recent weeks about Walker's development and how much those COVID quarantines back before the season started had set him back. But recently, what would you say has been the most important development about his actual game? Something he's understanding on the floor that maybe he didn't more earlier in the season?
Well, guys, you missed 14 days. Up to the second 2 days before the first game starts, you miss a lot of stuff. And that was very significant for him. But he's understood the game more. He's gotten more confident. He's shooting the ball in practice. All of his numbers in practice have gotten better and better. And this is a 6 or 7 game stretch. I don't know how many it is that he's just gotten better and better as he's gone along. But it really is that he's just continued to work hard and has gotten better, has gotten more confident. And I think one thing is his knees were bothering him quite a bit for a while, even middle of after 10 or 15 games in the season. And I think that Doug has done a great job in helping him. He's done the treatment that he's needed to do and made it even better. So a lot of it's just his sweat and his work ethic, and it's really shown for him these last 7 or 8 games.
Dan Tortora.
Did you get your answers?
Coach, last season, after you played that game against Syracuse, everything stopped. The world stopped essentially. Just what you can say about being back in this tournament and what the ACC and really college basketball did to make sure that we could get back to this point and do it safely.
Well, I think, knock on wood, it means I'm hitting myself in the head. I think we have really been good around the country. Yes, there's been blips here and there. Mike and I talked before the game. He lost a bunch of home games. We lost a bunch of home games. But I'm really stunned that we've been able to get as far as we have, as safely as we have. And I think you've got to really congratulate the young people. That's the bottom line. I mean, those older guys like me or something, it's not as difficult, but I think you have to congratulate the young kids or in every school around the country, the job that they have done. And yes, I do remember being here last year when all this stuff happened, and it was so sad. And, you know, I'm scared to death about the spikes that could be coming if we're opening up too soon. And a couple of states are already doing that. But for the whole, I think our kids should be congratulated for what they've done. And our league and the NCAA as a whole have been listening to the scientists and not the politicians. And I think that's been great.
We got time for a couple more, and then Armando's almost ready. Adam?
In the ACC, Armando's the bowl.
Roy, you get Virginia Tech tomorrow night, and obviously that was a game that dropped off your schedule. You didn't play them. Are they in any way sort of a mystery because of the pauses that they've had and the fact that you haven't seen them?
Yeah, you know, it's strange because I haven't seen them nearly as much as I've seen some of the other teams in our league, and it's because we didn't play them at all. You know, we played Clemson once and we lost that home game. We played Miami once and lost that home game. And Boston College would be the other team that I hardly saw them play. And that's Boston College and Virginia Tech, both in that same category. And they're a little bit of a mystery. I have seen them play some, but not nearly as much as I have the other teams. They'll be even more rested than we are, and we understand that. But Michael does a great job, and I saw their game against Virginia, and they were off the charts so good in that game. And that's probably saw a few moments of some of the other games, but their game against Virginia, that stretch that they had in the second half was just off the charts.
Last one.
Last one, Danny Thompson.
Coach Danny Thompson with the three-point conversion. You've coached a lot of basketball in a lot of different places. Have you ever had a night where you don't have your best post player, but you had three guys with double-doubles from the post and just as dominant as Bakat, Sharp, and Walker was tonight?
I don't know that I've ever had that. You know, we've had 3 or 4 big guys on our team a lot. And when I was at Kansas and here, and that they've been very good players. And I like to play big guys. I like to play 2 big guys. Mark Few and myself are about the only guys in the country to still play 2 big guys together. But, you know, I don't know that I've had with those stats that you gave up. But at Kansas, I had Rafe LaFrance, Scott Pollard, TJ Pugh, and Greg Ostertag, 3 near 7-footers. And then we had Nick Collison, Drew Gooden, and Wayne Simeon. You know, so we've had really good players, but I don't know if we've ever had those kind of stats come up from that game. But it was good, and they stepped up to the challenge. Garrison's our most experienced player, the most sound fundamentally defensively, and that was the part that I was worried about the most.
All right, here's on. I'm sorry.
Before I get out of here too, guys, how about you guys writing an article about that we have players on our team that practice and play all year long and get to the ACC tournament and can't dress out? I mean, my gosh. If the bowl game, if the football team gets to go to the bowl game, they can dress out everybody in the world. But we come to the ACC tournament, which is traditionally part of the NCAA tournament, and these kids have practiced all year long. I had to have 2 guys tonight that couldn't dress out. And to me, that's not right. You know, and it's not anything about too many suits and ties on the bench because nobody's wearing a suit and tie, and you can separate 17 guys just as much as you can 15. So we need to do something about that rule. Thank you, guys.